our next guest coming up, this is Jason Johns, and he is the creator and founder of Life Balance HQ, and he calms the chaos from within. I met Jason in Nashville, Tennessee at a conference that we were at, and we just hit it off. And I was able to appear on a summit that he had not too long ago, and I'll let him hop on here. And here we go. Let's get him in. And he's going to be popping up. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Oh,
How are you?
I am amazing. Amazing.
Thanks
I'm so
for
fired off just off of the
being
first
here.
speaker. That was powerful.
Marilyn, she was awesome, wasn't she?
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, and so are you. So I want people to know what you've got going on. I said we met in Nashville not too long ago, and I was able to be on one of your summits, and now here you are coming to us on our Christmas in July. So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for letting me be a part of this, because this is absolutely powerful to bring 40 speakers in for 24 hours straight. And I mean, I just love how you came across even doing this, riding the bike, and all of a sudden, you know, some random thought pops into your head and it's like, I should do this, right? And that's, I think, what life is all about, is taking that moment, whether it's a smart idea at the moment, or maybe it doesn't seem so smart, and you're just like, I need to do this. Something's calling you to do this. And that's what I feel this event really represents, is a calling. You might not really understand why you're doing something, but to step forward, get into that unknown. And something that I believe strongly, my name's Jason Johns. I'm from Lumsden, Saskatchewan, Canada. But I truly believe when we align our energies to something that we intentionally want to move forward to, we can overcome and do so much. Like, we truly, truly can. And as Elaine had mentioned, we started Life Balance HQ, and it's kind of home to calming the chaos within. And that's something that hits home for me, of just, I find everywhere we look, there's so many people that struggle to be in the now, in the present moment. There's always another stressor. There's always another thought. There's always something else or somewhere else to be. And we really struggle to just be in our own life. And that's something that I got caught up in for a lot of years. And I really wanted to, once I started to figure out some of the things that really helped me, I wanted to be able to show it and share it to other people. Key is, how do you help others when nobody's really connecting? They don't know how to connect. They don't know how to find their people. So we created Life Balance HQ as a community, so people can come into that, feel safe, vulnerable, to expose their deep dark, and start to grow, start to heal, start to, you know, embrace their life for what it is. I truly believe everything does happen for a reason. I don't know what the reason is when it happens, and sometimes it's absolutely terrible what people go through. But the strength that you have gained through some of yours, and just everything, it's absolutely incredibly inspiring, and the world moves because somebody went through some pain. Right? And that's just, it's truly something that just, it hits home every time we go through pain. It's like, why me? Why me? But when we can take all that in, and it might be a few years, it might be a few hours, it might be a few months, but like I said, it could be a few years, it could be a decade. We don't know when it's going to come to existence for us in our life. But when we're pushing and moving forwards and growing, I find the purpose finds us, right? And as we keep moving, and I've had so many instances where it's like, it doesn't make sense, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow. Like, you meet one person, you hear that one word, you hear that one phrase, and all of a sudden something that happened to me 10 years ago makes sense. Oh, this is what I need to use that power for. This is what I need to use that energy for, or that relationship for, or that connection, you know, and it just, I just really find that life aligns us and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if we keep stepping forward and putting ourselves in the right position with the right energy that we want to provide to the world, that bigger power lines us up every time, right? It doesn't matter what you believe in, if it's God, the universe, or the divine, or anywhere which you go with this, as long as you're believing in something that's out there, they got your back. And that's just something that I've really gotten to learn as I've gotten older, is you truly, there again, it doesn't have to make sense, but just know that it's there. Something's got your back when you keep pushing forward, you keep moving forward. And it's just a powerful, powerful thing. So we wanted to create a space that people can be vulnerable and be able to open up within. So that's what Life Balance came from.
Very nice. Very nice. And I mean, you nailed it. It doesn't need to make sense. I don't think any of us are really going to get any of those questions answered until we do. You know what I'm saying? So with this life balance, looking back, what was it, something you went through that pulled at you to have to create this for others, or like what was your experience that made this come to be?
So ultimately, I grew up in a split home. My parents split up when I was 1, and I think a lot of people would say that would create some chaos within the household, within the family, right? And the kids would feel that. And from my experience personally, my mom left for the first little bit, and my dad was the raiser. Well, in the 80s, males didn't raise their kids. That was a complete, the women only kind of thing. So just in that era, I think there was a lot of people questioning the family of why that happened the way it happened, and whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision. And I don't think it really affected me because it was my dad that I was with as much. So I lived up, and my dad was a professional football player at the time. And that's kind of like hero. That's where I want to go. That's what I want to be as a little boy, right? And I really stretched for that. But as life kind of piled on, people are asking questions. Oh, you can't be good. You can't, this isn't normal, right? And they're constantly asking and asking and asking. And I think eventually the outside world got in. And it got to me, and it started to create some chaos. And through that, I eventually ran away from my dad, moved in with my mom at high school, and created all kinds of chaos. I got into drugs, I got into alcohol, I got into all kinds of things that would make me feel better, make me feel more acceptable, make me fit in more. You know, I always seemed to fit in, but at the same point inside, I didn't feel like I was fitting in. So I kept trying more and more and more. And then I ended up getting into breaking the law and doing some other things. And it just, everything had a moment for me, but I never woke up from it. Like you have these, you hit rock bottom, right? And if you don't fully heal, you got to wait to hit another one. And then you got to wait to hit another one. And there's all these moments that we get to kind of pick from being our bottom. And, you know, you think getting arrested and being charged would kind of change you. But what it did is it suppressed me. I took that and go, okay, I can't have a temper anymore. I hurt somebody. So now I need to just suppress all that because I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the understanding and the awareness to really heal from that. So kind of through that, it tossed me into a little bit of a curve of learning, but everybody was like, oh, you're so much fun when you're drinking and you're so much fun. Well, and I could hide behind the alcohol because everybody declared me that I was fun. I was just a pile of fun to be around. And I think when you think about that, I started in a high, I went into a low, and then you get fooled into a place of value. And I was fun to hang out with. But by the time I can say I met my wife, Jen, at 30, I'm 39 now. 5 years ago, we built a house that I live in right now. And that was one of my dreams, was to have a mom and dad in the house, have 2 kids, and build my own house. And at 30 some years old, I wake up to this dream that I'm actually living, but not realizing I'm within it. Okay.
Beautiful.
But what I also understand is how much chaos and stress is suffering inside of me when I'm doing this. I'm drinking 24 beer a day and not eating while I build this house.
Wow.
Am I doing anything wrong to the outside world? No, I'm a bubbly guy. Everybody's like, oh, I can't get over like just how nice this guy is, and blah, blah, blah. The neighbors, they enjoyed it. And the one was like, I can't get over how you just wake up every day and you just say, hey, I'm fantastic. Because inside I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something inside that I wasn't dealing with. There was something inside me that was really eating me up, but I was masking it with alcohol, with drugs, with different things. So fast forward right into the start of the pandemic. We hadn't had news of all that yet, but I had a boss come in to a management meeting where I was working at the time at a retail store, and he kind of looked at all his management. And he just kind of said, I don't mean to be rude, but none of you in this room will ever make as much money as I have lost.
Oh, geez.
And, you know, as somebody that's always felt a little bit like I want more for me, and I always wanted to stretch. My dad started, like, when I looked up at my dad to start with, he was a professional football player. Only 1% of people that get into football ever make it to that pinnacle, right? Like, it's such a small, so you know, the ceiling is the limit. Like, you want to make a decision to go for it. I saw that so young, but I lost that kind of strength and alignment to that potential, right? When he said that to me, it fired me back into that space of I deserve more. Nobody should feel like this little breadcrumb that just got swept off into the corner and doesn't mean anything.
Wow.
Right? And that was my fire. So I started looking for something better, something greater for myself, not for anybody else, but I needed to change my life for my family. I needed to give my kids an example of what it's like to create your best life. Not just sit back, not just wait, not just fall into a box that somebody else has built for you, but leap outside the box and really create that circle that you want, the people that you want in your life, and surround yourself. And what that kicked me into was searching for me. That's at 37 years old. I am now searching for me for the first time. Like, really digging in. I didn't read before because I was a weak reader and people made fun of me. So what did I do? I shielded it, right? I put an armor up around it, and I would always protect myself so I didn't have to do public readings. I didn't have to do different readings because I thought somebody would make fun of me.
Yeah.
So then I found out this cool thing they call Audible, right? You can still get the info, but you can listen to it, which then got me encouraged to start reading. Right? So then I get stronger reading. I get more knowledge bringing in because I can do it when I'm gardening. I love being in the garden. I love doing these things. And I started to be able to reflect back based on all this knowledge I was bringing in with the books. And the two biggest books that I kind of read was, one was a little bit more of a spiritual book based out of Hawaii, and it was based on Ho'oponopono, if anybody's ever heard of it. And I don't practice and I don't do it, but I what it did is it taught me that I have to look within. That's what that book, at the end of the day, it said, you have to go and do the work yourself. And then there was another book that I read, which was 10X Rules by Grant Cardone. And this isn't to push their books, but what it is if anybody knows them, Grant Cardone is incredibly aggressive and really, like, he's going to be the one that kicks you in the ass, right? And then there was this really soft spiritual book, right? And both of them told me to look within. You have to own your own shit. And I was just like, oh, I can't.
You couldn't get away from it. You couldn't get away
hide
from
anymore. I couldn't hide anymore, Elena. And that's really what it came down to, was I had to be honest with me for the first time ever. I actually had to be honest with myself and say, are you living the life that you want to live? Are you giving your kids the best example? Are you leading your family the way you should be? And the answer was no. Right? And I needed to do something different. I needed to put myself in a better position, a better frame, work with mental, like heart alignment, everything, right? And So that's where the work really started to get put in, was through that. And what I realized was the chaos had overwhelmed me for so long. And when I talk about chaos, there's so many things that really generate chaos. There is, like, there's chaos going around this event, right? You're doing something live, you're doing it for 24 hours. There's a lot of chaos. So and it was really interesting listening to you kind of lead into this, is if you need to get a hold of me, this is going to be the only way and the easiest way. So just please do this, because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
You can't be everywhere.
Well, and you bring up a good point, because even just the chaos, it never affects just you. You know, like today, my mom was texting, and if you need anything, do I come? Do I not? Am I going to interrupt? You know, my kids are probably awake, running around, like, and I say kids, they're, you know, young men, but they're probably like, if I go in the kitchen, turn on the micro, like, what am I doing? So one thing affects so many others, no matter what it is you're talking about.
Yeah. And it just, so ultimately it was just, I really had to start looking within, and I wasn't going to stop until I was able to create something. I didn't know what I was creating. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it was a business venture to begin with that just kind of was a great spark. And then it kind of moved into, I just started connecting with people. And, you know, I connected with a speaker that's actually, I think, on this platform. David Vrablik was one of the first people that I connected out with. We were on a big virtual event, and out of 120,000 people, we connected.
Yeah.
Which then led me down the path truly to eventually be able to meet you in Nashville. And if I don't meet David, you know, in that one event, I don't meet a lot of people that kind of fall down the line, and just, so each little movement taught me something. And I didn't I'll go back to, you don't always understand why something's happening to you, but be open. And I was incredibly judgmental before, because I was judged so much as I grew up, which then turned into a really bad habit of mine. But it was also a wall and a barrier that I put up around me, was judgment. Because if I could judge somebody and attack, I wouldn't have to be as vulnerable. I wouldn't have to be, you know, felt like I wasn't enough, or whatever the scenario that came up in those random conversations, these random places throughout the years. And so by being able to reach out, get connected around people, I was like, okay, circle matters. And I thought I had a really good circle, which I did. Like, the friends, the support was amazing, but it wasn't the support that was going to challenge me to become a better person. It was the support that was going to say, you're doing your best, man. Just keep going. You're doing your best. And that support is amazing. But it's not the support that was going to encourage me to become the best version of me.
Right.
It was just going to allow me to be okay with where I was at and ease that moment. But again, because I didn't deal with something, we all know, if you're in a growth journey, something comes back and bites you in the butt a little bit later if we don't deal with it today.
Yes.
And it seems to reappear, whether it's a month away, 5 years away, a decade away. You don't know when these things come and reappear, but if we don't deal with it today, it will come back in a future state. And that's just some of the stuff that I started to realize. So I really needed to pinch right now, and started to form my circle, started to create a group that supported people. I just wanted to be there for people. I didn't know. And I guess when I started the search, it didn't seem like there was a lot of groups out there. And it was only because my circle was so small, right? And now that I've really reached out to create my own group and create my circle, being, thankfully, you're involved with my circle, because, man, what an amazing connection to be a part of. And this is what happens. You get to be around people that encourage you and inspire you. As much as I'm incredibly honored to be on this platform,
Thank you.
but I am more honored to be able to listen to everybody that you brought onto this platform, to learn from and grow from their stories and their life lessons that they've brought here, because that's my new addiction. Drugs and alcohol were a part of it for so long, but my new addiction is perspective.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's
being
good.
open, because I was so closed off for 37 years. That was my guard. That was my defense. That was my armor to protect me, was to stay closed and to stay strong with what I was good at, what I was comfortable with. And then now it's, how weak can I get so I can build my strength back up? Who can I learn from that knows something that I want to learn? And be okay and be vulnerable and say, I don't know, but I want to learn. Or put yourself in these positions to be able to learn from incredible people that have gone through, you know, some terrible things, some amazing things.
And, you know,
Right.
I love the fact, like, because in that I can relate to so many things. And yeah, your regular circle, they are going to love you no matter what. They're going to love you through anything. But then you have to step out and be around the people that don't accept that this is enough, that already see there's more for you that maybe you can't see for yourself, and push you and encourage you. And I think that's what's brought us all here today, you know? So it is okay to have that, you know, the regular group, the regular friends, but if there's not anybody in there that is going for it, doing it, pushing you, and then there's another circle you need to learn as well, right? People need to seek that. And you said that earlier, you know, that made me think, what you seek, you will find. So if you seek negativity, normalcy, regular, like if you seek that, that's cool. That's what you will find. But if you seek that there is more, there is a higher, there is greater, that's what you will find.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so then there was kind of a spin to the calming the chaos that really got answered to me in the last little bit. And my grandmother's been trying to calm her chaos within her life for years, right? She lived to 91. Unfortunately, she passed this spring at 91, but had an incredible life. And what this woman taught me was, it's never too late. At 88 years old, she was told she was done. We can't do anything for you, Lynn. Your heart's not working very well. All your blood vessels, everything's clogged up. We can't even do surgery on you. Just not going to make it. So that happened when she was 88. So about 4 years ago. And she was just feeling bad. Like she couldn't get out for walks. Like she usually would go for a walk in the morning. She was starting to bounce like and fall around side to side and just couldn't figure this stuff out. And the doctor just, oh, your equilibrium's out. These things are out, right? And I remember going out for a visit with the kids and the family and getting to hang out. And I noticed something. I was working at a hockey store and we dealt with feet lots. And I noticed something was wrong with her foot. So we got an insole put in and it straightened her up, so the point that she wasn't falling side to side. And that got her walking again and got some confidence in her. But the cool part of that is because she was able to walk, because she was able to flip her mindset to what that, like, and obviously she was told that she didn't have much time left. So there was a lot of psychological things that she was processing to, you know, embrace what was about to happen for her. Right. And, you know, she had to phone the family and let everybody know that this is just kind of where it's at. And I said, you know what, you're still here today and we're going to embrace you every day. Like you're, you know, it's the best day. Right. And just kind of keep moving. And next thing you know, 12 months later, she goes back to the doctor and he goes, I don't know what you did, Lynn, but you're healthier than you've been in the last 5-10 years.
Wow.
Now, what did she do? What did she do that was different? And I fully believe she believed. She let things go. She stopped dragging things along with her that she couldn't handle, like she couldn't, I guess, process or need to deal with. You just need to kind of let some things go in life. You need to be able to calm that chaos within, right? Yeah. And she was somebody that got into meditation and was always searching into these, you know, she was always looking for healing, like constant healing. She was somebody that was adopted at 4 or 5 years old, way back in the early, like she was 91 when she passed here in the spring. But one of her final messages that she left our family in handwriting that she wrote in the last probably 6 months of her life was, I finally feel like I've let it all go.
Wow.
at 90, right? At 90 years old, finally put herself in a position to let everything go. She had traumas around her mom, you know, her adopted mom. And it was through stuff that happened around her year 5. So think of carrying something with you for 85, 86 years.
Wow.
That's creating chaos. Like it's inside of you, it's creating chaos, whether you realize it or not. And this is why, to me, the healing journey is so important. This is why calming the chaos to me is so important. And I know we're getting close to the end, and I want to share a little bit of a tool to everybody that takes part in this, so that you too can help calm your chaos every single moment of the day when you need this break and you need this lift up. And it's a breathing exercise. I work a lot with meditation, breath work, and just talking and being there in support. And a lot of the stuff that I work with and a lot of the people that I work with, they just need to get out of the box and get into their own circle. Where do you fit in? So the one thing I want to close out today with is this breathwork practice that I use. You can literally calm your own chaos within 60 seconds.
Okay.
And we all do it already. You're just not aware of it. So have you ever been super upset to the point where you're sniffling?
Yes.
So when you've had an emotional moment and you're crying and it's, which I know you've had, right?
Yeah.
You've had these moments
You
when
can't get the full sentence out.
you're really struggling through that. So your body will go into this state and it'll start to try and recover its breath. It'll try and reset itself for you. So there's a double inhale. What we need to practice is the long exhale. So if we do quick inhales, we don't bring a pile of oxygen and energy into our body to lift our heart rate up. We actually bring in minimal, but we have a long exhale, which lowers our heart rate, which lowers our stress levels.
Wow.
And in 15 seconds, I have taken people from hyperventilating in a text message to nothing within 60 seconds.
Wow, just by changing that breathing pattern?
Yep, and adding that in. And if you think about it, infants, they're super upset. How do they get themselves out of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We do it. And what I started listening to a neuroscientist, Dr. Andrew Huberman, and he talks about this over and over and over again. And the power within it, you guys, is honestly, in 15 to 60 seconds, you can take yourself from a state that you don't have much control over to something where you can at least think, you can be open, you can start to see where do I take my next step here.
Wow.
So many of us in life, we struggle to be able to take the next step. And it's because of the chaos. It's because of the thoughts that are in our head. And when you can do that breath in 60 seconds, you are now open to receive where we're supposed to go and the next thoughts to step forward and move into that next space. And it's such a powerful, powerful thing. So I would just like to thank you, Elena, for letting me be a part of this incredible event. And
thank you.
it's amazing. I love being a part of this stuff, and I can't wait to listen and grow from everybody that's going to be a part of this.
Thank you so much. I mean, honestly, thank you so much for being here, because you were, when we talk about those impacts, you were the one person that I truly feel at the event I went to, not knowing anyone, which was very uncomfortable for me. The time and the attention that you gave me to just talk to me that evening really made the difference. It made me feel welcome. It made me feel like I belonged. It made me feel like I did make the right choice, that that I was in the right place. And so it was such an honor of mine to be on your I Am Transformational Summit, but to have you share your time with me this morning as well, it just, it's a beautiful thing. So thank you. Just to put it bluntly, it's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate you and everything that you've brought into my life. It's pretty special. And again, like something like this that you've created, it just shows how special the movement that you are a part of and what you're creating. And for everybody out there, I hope you guys are supporting this and just hang in there and be inspired today for the next 24 hours, because it's going to be pretty special.
Thank you.
What'll happen here.
All right, Jason, enjoy the rest of your weekend and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.